One thing I've always appreciated about Jujutsu Kaisen is the battles. Early on in the story, we see battles that are 2-on-1, 2-in-2 and the like, but nothing too extreme. Power explanations are also utilized and there is a sense of chaos in it, but this chaos that I'm talking about is brought to the forefront in the Shibuya incident arc, and we see it again in the Culling game arc. But the thrilling chaos that I felt from the Jujutsu Kaisen story was mainly felt in the Shibuya incident arc. In the Shibuya incident arc, we see multiple events happening at the same time, and we jump from one insane battle scene to a huge mystery revelation and to a prominent character dying. Talk about a roller coaster, and this heavily contributes to the chaos, and this happens at many instances in the Jujutsu Kaisen story, such as in Jujutsu Kaisen 0 and the Culling game arc. The events that contribute to the chaos in the Shibuya incident arc are many. You've got Gojo getting sealed away, Yuji getting forced to consume almost the entire fingers of Sukuna, Sukuna getting revived and destroying half the city through a comet, and us learning that Megumi has a power that is so overpowered that it killed the past 6 eyes. New characters getting introduced in droves, fan favorite characters passing away for real and permanently. This is pure beautiful chaos, and it is art in the purest sense of the word. And the way Jujutsu Kaisen fights usually are, it immediately enhances this chaos. Chaotic arcs I can remember in other stories that are done right are One Piece's Marineford arc and Naruto's post-Chunin exam arc. There are also many others that I'm not mentioning, but I see many similarity between the Shibuya incident arc and One Piece's Marineford arc. In both those arcs, you get bombarded with a lot of epic moments that lifts your spirit up, only to ruthlessly get it crushed by characters that we've come to love up to that point dying. In One Piece's case, it was Ace, and in Jujutsu Kaisen's case, it was Nobara Kugisaki. More on her later. And it's no surprise that both those story arcs served to alter the whole course of the story, because you can't have that many world-shattering events happen in a single arc and expect the story to progress normally. And that leads us to the Culling game arc. The Culling game arc kinda feels unreal. It is chaos incarnate. You've got sorcerers from multiple eras in this death tournament vying to be the best out there. There are also many convoluted rules, but I don't think that's a net positive. Our heroes are trying to rescue Megumi's sister, the US invades, and just when it's looking like Megumi's sister is safe, you got some demon taking her body over, and to add salt to injury, you've got Sukuna unexpectedly taking over Megumi's body. This was one of the most shocking moments for me in Jujutsu Kaisen. The way the bad guys get the upper hand in an unpredictable fashion and rain down misery on our heroes kinda makes me think Gege Akutami doesn't like the good guys. And Yuji going berserk on Sukuna after Sukuna stole Megumi's body, that was one of the best rage moments I've seen in recent memory for me, because Sukuna, the arrogant man that he is, was still surprised by Yuji during that instance. But then you've got Sukuna and his lackey laughing at Yuji's desperate attempt to stop them. Poor Itadori. And that fight between Yuji and Sukuna has to be one of the best in Jujutsu Kaisen, no matter how brief it was, because you can see Yuji finally releasing all that pent up feeling of Sukuna harboring his body and doing him dirty for all this time. Maki evolving to Toji 2.0 was also one of the highlights of this arc. It was very exhilarating to watch her destroy generations of history, culture and tradition just for the sake of her sister. Even though the Culling game arc was not as chaotic as the Shibuya arc, it definitely lived up to expectations. The way death is handled in Jujutsu Kaisen helps amplify the chaos, and I really love it. And I say that because of the case with Nobara Kugisaki. Nobara, from the moment she was introduced with her snarky attitude and all, she was a perfect fit to what would soon become the trio of Megumi, Itadori and herself. And seeing their dynamic together, I never once found dull. She was sort of like the Sakura my bad, she was like how Nami in One Piece or Noelle in Black Clover is, the female character of the main cast of the group, and most of the time those female characters get flack for being underdeveloped, but Nobara was right. She wasn't the most deep or revolutionizing character I have ever witnessed in a story, but when I was reading the flashbacks of her that was shown moments before she died, I was like, here we go again, getting another long flashback just to bait us into thinking that she's dead just for that not to be the case. So when it actually turned out she was actually dead for sure, I was left astounded. And I remember a lot of Jujutsu Kaisen fans hating the fact that it turned out she actually died, but that was a brave and bold decision from Gege Akutami, and it adds a real chaotic vibe to the story, so you don't know which of your favorite characters will make it out after that moment, and it just increases the feeling of chaos in the story, in my opinion. A reason for why Jujutsu Kaisen masters the art of chaos so well might be because it sits in a sort of a unique spot when you look at the whole shonen landscape. It is not your happy-go-lucky, light-hearted traditional shonen such as My Hero, One Piece and Naruto. Not to say those shows don't have their serious dark moments, but it is also not dark enough that it could be labeled as a seinen, and it's also not one of those shonens that are hard to call a shonen, such as Chainsaw Man and Attack on Titan. If I was never informed that Chainsaw Man and Attack on Titan were a shonen and just went off of the content I consumed from them, I'd assume they were seinen. Basically what I'm trying to say here is Jujutsu Kaisen is the dark shonen out there that still feels like a shonen. You've got training arcs such as the one in season 1 and also tournament-esque stories like the Culling game arc, which gives it the air of being shonen, but it is also coupled with the dark and mature tone it usually has. And this blend is sort of like a clash of two worlds, which could explain why the story of Jujutsu Kaisen seamlessly executes chaotic moments. And this also allows Gege Akutami to take the story to different avenues without it feeling forced, like how he is wrapping up the story. I really like how Gege Akutami is wrapping up the story of Jujutsu Kaisen. Usually when shonen authors try to end their series quickly, it feels rushed and ends up diminishing the quality of the story, such as the ending of Tokyo Ghoul, Bleach and many others. But the way Gege Akutami is doing it is masterful, absolutely can't deny that. It feels so chaotic yet so natural. Spoilers, but Gojo's and Sukuna's fight seemingly being the final fight of the story, I did not see coming. You'd think the final battle for a story would be between the main character and the antagonist, but the way Jujutsu Kaisen abandons that and replaces the main character with a side character and still makes it make sense is just brilliant writing. And this is why I say Jujutsu Kaisen has mastered chaos. The way the Culling game arc set up this moment that felt like would happen hundreds and hundreds of chapters later, getting to it this early, it's absolutely amazing how Gege Akutami achieved this feat. Even Gege Akutami's acquaintance Kohei Horikoshi is having difficulties doing this, with many of the fans having a gripe with how My Hero Academia is about to end. And yeah, I'm really impressed with the story of Jujutsu Kaisen. If you've made it this far, please consider subscribing to the channel. I talk all things anime and manga, and also don't forget to ring the notification bell. And with that said, see you in the next one.